Hello, my friends, and welcome. Welcome to week 5, our final week of our April Poetry Celebration. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. My name is Kate Chadbourne, and I am hosting this celebration in conjunction with the journal makers Jumping Fox Design. And Jumping Fox Design makes beautiful journals, binders, and writing tools that I love, and they have very generously provided us with the prizes for our celebration. So today I will be revealing the winners of those prizes. So I'm delighted that we're here today. It's been a tremendous month. So many wonderful poems have come in. All in all, we had more than 30 poets take part in this celebration. And it really has felt like we have done it, my friends. We have truly celebrated poetry. I'm so proud of us. Thank you. Last week, our kind of mini theme was poetry friendship, and you all rose to the occasion so beautifully. So many wonderful poems came in. I just wanted to give you, I would love to read them all, but just to give you a little sense, we had lots and lots of poems about friends, particular friends, dog friends, friends and music, friends we don't see enough, friends we plan to see, friends we recognize after a long time. Beautiful. A poem about a beloved aunt, and I loved this. It said, who gave all she had to make everyone's life easier. Just very moving. A poem which included carpenter bees and the image of them as medieval fighters. I thought that was ingenious. A beautiful, tender poem about a sleeping wife. Many reflections on the war in Ukraine, and so much more. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right in and share some of your poems from this week. Just an overview, couple of poems to give you. Louise gave us this haiku, and it's called April Poetry Month. Poetry challenge, a spark and a dare, writing flows when souls are bare. Thank you, Louise. I love that. My friend Tricia said, I am never sure at the beginning of the month that I will be able to keep up. And then there they are, poems scratched out on paper, written as I am falling asleep, hunted wherever I look. And Tricia came with a beautiful harvest of poems all month. And so did you all. So my young friend Sarah, in thinking about this theme of poetry friendship, and thank you all for the beautiful comments you had about poetry friendship in my life and in yours. Sarah shared this poem, and it's called A Part of You. As the mirror is to your reflection, as the gentle hold is to a warm hug, as the careful listener is to the powerful voice, as a smile is to a memory, as a friend is to a part of you, as a friend is to a part of you. It's beautiful, Sarah. That's a friend. And I wanted to give you here a beautiful Irish proverb that I love, and it's just this: Scahan mai sul charad. Scahan mai sul charad. A friend's eye is a good mirror. Make sure you choose the mirror wisely. The good mirror sees you with love. Kathleen gave us this wonderful poem called Riding Two on a Bike. What a thrill, the first time with you, my friend, on my 3-speed English racer. Our 9-year-old hearts pumping faster than my furious legs could push the pedals up, down and around as I straddle the crossbar and you in the saddle. Do you remember how we howled down Willow Street in the heat of the summer? Forgotten in the fun, with me gripping the handlebars, you clutching my waist. We flew under the canopy of maple trees, touching vigor itself, each revolution underfoot bringing us this new delight. Only later did the gypsy moths devour the green arbor, and age as leaf litter descend upon us. So that poem almost has two seasons in one, doesn't it? And because of Kathleen, that's beautiful. And the feeling, I think it's a great reminder that through a poem we can experience so many things. I feel I experienced riding downhill as a 9-year-old girl on a bike with a friend. Wonderful. Ruthie, my Shanachie friend, sent this, and I just thought it dovetailed beautifully with Kathleen's poem. And it's called For Absent Friends. And I think it's important that we include this idea that some of our friends are not here. For Absent Friends by Ruth. When night calls me into reverie, I wander through awakening dreams, where my foot falls on distant lands, lifting me into the joys of those tender memories, and the people who shared the dreams with me live again. That's beautiful. Now, in the opposite, so Kathleen's poem looked back and Ruthie's poem looked back, here's a poem that looks forward, and this is by my beloved Caitlin, who I call my niece. It's called Park Pals. In 2084, our park bench sits in the summer mud, just several strides from the lavender bushes that sweeten the park's edges. You, the finest trader of tales, mother of memories, and a laugh that soothes and colors, sit in front of me. In the sun, we chuckle at how we never married women at 23 years old, in search of the secret sauce to a life of glee. Oh, have we arrived! There is nothing beyond this rickety bench. Our exhales are deeper with our silver hair and joy that tumbles. We hold hands and wrap ankles when our bright eyes meet. We are knowers. We have never been knowers, KN, just to let you know. We are knowers. We have never been taller, more rooted, and more alive in this world. At night we dance and take quiet walks. We are teachers and builders and makers of paintings and pasta dishes, celebrators of the ones who showed us how to sit. Now we, the guides, as we spill off this bench, we clutch nothing because we held each other tightly in that glacial winter. We're part of our thickest changes and are ready for the next thrill. We still gossip in our version of French. C'est un miracle, notre vie ensemble. We see each other in our wildest, silliest forms, and as old friends. It is new magic. I love that so much. Here is my friend Pam's celebration of her friend Joan, and I've known Pam for many years, and Joan has been her beloved friend for all of those years. It's just called Joan. She makes the biscuits. I make the tea. She paints. Oil, acrylic, watercolor. I use ink. Blue, black, green. She says she is too understanding. I say wholehearted, steadfast, kind. She dances, and when we're together, I dance too. I love these poems so much, my friends. I'm so moved by them. I think this may be the queen of all poetry prompts, of all poetry sparks. Write about friendship and love. Makes you feel wonderful. And then those of us who get to read them also feel wonderful. Another pair of wonderful poetry friends and music friends and art friends, two friends of mine, actually, Kathleen and Betsy. They are marvelous creators, both of them, and they are steadfast friends. And Betsy wrote this poem about her, she calls it Tuesday Practice with Kathleen, their art making practice together. That's art and music and poetry and you name it, everything. Tuesday Practice with Kathleen. There was always magic at Tuesday Practice, in the music, in the harmony, in the synergy of our voices. And when we joined forces, aligned our choices, the enchantment grew. The scale of artistry tipped up and down What one needed, the other found. Soon our shared efforts, the energies of pure intention, the hard trying, safe listening and true understanding, the matching and fitting note to note, the musical future ripe with hope transformed us. A wondrous alchemy of like-mindedness was born, and we became sisters with wings. Sisters who sing and sip honey tea in gold china cups from Aunt Rosemary. Sisters who write poems, stories, and songs, snippets of life as it comes along. Sisters who cook and celebrate, try new recipes with leftovers to take. Sisters who know life as a gift and refuse to waste any of it. Sisters who fly with fairy wings, wishing for the other everything. Oh, Betsy and Kathleen. Sisters who fly with fairy wings, wishing for the other everything. What a blessing is a good friend. That's beautiful. Now, you might remember last week I shared that some of my poetry friends, Cheryl and Tricia and I, like to write 5-minute poems. We just set the timer and off we go, and something always happens. Now, Kathleen picked up this idea and so she let me know that she and Betsy have been doing this. And so this is called 5 Minutes and Counting by Kathleen. No pressure. My stomach cries, liar. Butterflies are trying to escape. How silly I feel, how scared, how real. Slow down, take a deep breath, you are fine. Limited time inside the pressure cooker of my mind. Don't worry, you have 2.5 more minutes. See, that wasn't as bad as you thought. Next time, maybe you'll write a real piece, not explode with anxiety in every internal direction. You're almost there. Tick, 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 stop. So exciting. I'm so happy to know that you have picked up this habit of 5-minute poems, and I encourage all of us, alone or with friends. You know, I was speaking with my beloved friend Cynthia today, and she said how amazed she was that when you sit down to write, something always happens. You can trust that. Now, our young Rosie shared this poem. So Rose and Declan are my friend Anne's children, and they are just creative powerhouses, all three of them. Rose wrote this poem, Dots, Dots, Colored Dots, Rainbows, Clouds, and Trees, Colors, 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 Ducklings in the Breeze. Rosie, you are something else. I love your poems just as much. Declan, who wrote this name poem, right? So Declan, D-E-C-L-A-N. Here's his poem. I love it, Declan. Declan, daring, energetic, curious, living, apple-loving, nourishing. Those are great words, Declan, and that is a great poem. And I'm also an apple lover, so I was very happy to see that you are an apple lover. And finally, my friend Deb, who's been laid up a little bit, she's had surgery on her knee. She wrote a poem which really moved me this week, because it really showed that poetry is where you are. While you might be aching to get out into the beautiful, as I record this, it's May Day, and it's absolutely beautiful. Deb is sitting at her window and is still participating in the beauty, both by her observation and then by her putting it into a poem. So I just thought this was beautiful. Spring is happening outside my window, outside my world. For the first time in my memory, I am not rolling, breathing, walking, talking spring. I am limited, just this while, by choice, so that I may continue into summer with a spring in my step and gratitude in my heart. May it be so, Deb. Isn't it wonderful how she turns that word spring, so spring as the season, but in the end, she's going to continue into summer with a spring in her step and gratitude in her heart. Thank you, everybody. Those poems are marvelous and so full of life. I just love them. I want to add one of my own This is whoops, don't let this go. Here again, my marvelous Jumping Fox design binder that I love. And I want to show you, actually, I keep adding little things in the front here, as well as poems, but Anne, who's the mother of Declan and Rose, wrote me a note that I just needed to keep here, and it says this. It might make me cry. We are so grateful to be poets now. Thank you for believing in us. It has brought us all so much joy. That means the world to me. Thank you. So this week, my mother was going to be going to a luncheon of some ladies who knew someone that we all loved, and her name was Madeline, and we miss her. And my mother asked me if I would write a poem to send ahead to the luncheon. And she said preferably funny. So, and she gave me less than 24 hours. But you know, I love a challenge. And I wrote this poem, and I just wanted to share it because it is also a poem of friendship and memory. And your poems that you sent and writing this poem really galvanized me to say it is just worth celebrating people, remembering people, calling these memories to mind through poetry. So my poem is called Gracious. Gracious! That is one full snot locker. Madeline pronounced before dawn in the elegant Chateau Frontenac, when I woke her with my hacking and blowing, burbling and wheezing. Snot locker. It was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my 14 years of life, and I almost peed my pants laughing. Doubled over, still snotty, but now brimming at both ends. There in Quebec, where she and Don had taken Blanche and me to see the skaters gliding over the frozen St. Lawrence River, and to eat soup in a tiny stone bistro down a cobbled lane, my new Angora mittens stowed carefully in my coat pocket. Madeline, I'm still laughing, still warmed and laughing, and so are we all, remembering you. And if we shed a tear in missing you today, you will forgive us and pronounce from your place of love and wisdom, gracious, that is one full snot locker. So again, this is Jumping Fox Design, and the winners this week will have a choice. For this poetry celebration, we'll have a choice of having a binder like this one, or of having one of the small pocket-sized notebooks. And I can attest, you can't go wrong, my friends. You can't choose wrong. Whichever one you choose, you're going to be so happy, and use it up. Remember, that's kind of my studio rule, is use it up, any good thing. So I want to tell you the winners. I used a random number generator this time instead of all the paper. I usually cut out all these things, but I thought we would make it easy this time. And I'm glad to tell you we have 4 winners. The first is our youth winner, and it is Caitlin Anderson. Congratulations, Caitlin. So excited for you. We have 3 adult winners, and I'm excited for you too. They are Angela Mashali, who I call my siren sister, Deb O'Hanlon, another beautiful singer, and Trisha Knudsen, another beautiful singer and my dear poetry friend. So congratulations to Caitlin, Angela, Deb, and Trisha. And congratulations to everyone. And our deepest thanks to Jumping Fox Design for sponsoring this poetry celebration. Your sponsorship and kindness means the world to us. It is a true gift, and we are grateful. So that being said, let's have a look back at where we've come. So as you remember, this month our theme was Be a Poet. The first week we talked about what is a poet, and we explored everyday inspiration, finding poems wherever you could. And then the dare was to set up your poetry home. Get yourself ready to write. Wonderful. The next week was Wonder and Wander, and you wrote a wondering poem, and many of you went on a poetry walk. The third week was Sensitivity and Sensibility, and you wrote a poem from someone or something else's perspective, and you worked on cultivating your sensibility. The fourth week, last week, I think was your favorite, it might have been mine too, was Poetry Friendship. And your dare was to write a poem about friendship or a friend. And your spark, and your dare was to make a poetry friend and to make poems with friends. Now this week I want to leave you with a final, it's kind of a combined spark and dare, and it is this: be a champion of poetry. All month, that is what I have said to myself, is that I am a champion of poetry. I believe in poetry, obviously. I believe that good things happen when we look inside ourselves, when we find language for our own experiences, when we share them. I believe that poetry brings us together. I believe that poetry lifts us and encourages us and keeps us going. I think so many very great blessings happen from us as being poets and being champions of poetry. So I'd love to leave you with that. Be a poetry champion. That could mean you're a great reader of poetry and recommender of poetry. That could also mean 5-minute poems with your friends. But overall, here's what I do want to say. Being a champion of poetry means that we are an open door for poetry and to poetry. We are the ones that say, you're all welcome. Poetry can be a team sport. Look at this month, we did it together. I want to always be an encourager of poets, a welcomer in of poets and poetry, and I know you do too. So that's our dare, our spark for the next year. Let's be champions of poetry together. So I want to give you one more. I think we have another champion, and that is our friend Wes McNair, who I've been thinking of as the patron saint of this poetry celebration. Wes is very, very special, and we are lucky to have been able to enjoy 2 of his poems from his upcoming book, Late Wonders, which will come out in October 2022 from Godine Press. And I want to share one more poem from Wes, with all my thanks, and it's called Why We Need Poetry. Everyone else is in bed, it being, after all, 3 a.m, and you can hear how quiet the house has become each time you pause in the conversation you are having with your close friend to take a bite of your sandwich. Is it getting the wallpaper around you in the kitchen up at last that makes cucumbers and white bread, the only things you could find to eat, taste so good? Or is it the satisfaction of having discovered a project that could carry the 2 of you into this moment made for nobody else? Either way, you're here in the pleasure of the tongue, which continues after you've finished your sandwich, for now you are savoring the talk alone. How, by staring at the band of fluorescent light over the sink, or the pattern you hadn't noticed in the wallpaper, you can see where the sentence you've started, line by line, should go. Only love could lead you to think this way, or to care so little about how you speak, you end up saying what you care most about exactly right. Each small illusion growing larger in the light of your friend's eye. And when the light itself grows larger, it's not the next day coming through the windows of that redone kitchen, but you, changed by your hunger for the words you listen to and speak, their taste, which you can never get enough of. Thank you, Wes. Thank you very much. I want to also give you a prize this month, and I'm going to, everyone who's been participating, I'm going to give you an e-copy of my book, Kennings and Littles. because I think that you might find some enjoyment in writing some of your own kennings. So I'll be sending that out to you as a little present. And I'm going to just read one of them. These kennings, I take that from the Anglo-Saxon kennings, right? Like the sea was the whale's road, right? Or the sun was the bright jewel of the sky. My kennings are a little bit longer than that, but they're basically playful redefinings of the world. And I want to share one with you, maybe to bring us to a close here, and it's called Love Letter. Electrocardiogram winging through the post. Torn open, the pages thump, the ink murmurs. Whatever the letters, the message is ever, here is my heart, here is my heart, here is my heart, for you, for you, for you. I want to thank you all for the time we have spent together this month, for your wonderful poems, your participation, your encouragement, and that you have already been acting as champions of poetry. I hope that you have a wonderful year of poems to come. Please, again, like this, stay with me just this one last time. I love to read your comments. I appreciate every like. I love to see when you subscribe or share poems or share these videos with your friends. It makes a great difference. I also encourage you to stay in touch. I will put the link to my Kate Chadbourne newsletter in the comment below. Again, it's kind of a charming, infrequent letter, and you'd probably enjoy getting it. And I know we'd love to have you. So thank you again, my friends. I am wishing you such a wonderful year of poems, and I will see you again, I hope, next year.